All right, guys, this is a 2019 Tesla Model 3. It's dual motor, and it has the full self-driving package enabled. This is a Tesla Service Center loaner. I want to show you guys how filthy this thing is. I don't know if you can see. I mean, the thing is absolutely filthy. Windows are filthy. The inside's even worse looking. Bird droppings all over this thing. People just don't take care of these things. I mean, Tesla has no like car wash at the service center that I go to. What is this? Oh crap, dude, look at that. Look at that shard of metal inside of the tile. I wonder if they knew they had that in there. That's crazy. I wonder if it's through the tread or not. My daughter was gonna sit in the back seat and she insisted on getting a towel out to sit on because she thought the seats were so gross. Anyways, it's just filthy. I want to do some full self-driving videos for you guys here. Just kind of give you some thoughts on the full self-driving software. But first, we got to get this thing cleaned up. Alright guys, so we got the Model 3 all cleaned up, washed. It's really close to that car right there. Good laws. Alright, it was on full self-driving and it almost hit a car on the side of the road, and so I had to take action immediately. So anyways, guys, so this has the full self-driving software enabled. This is a loaner vehicle, and it's pretty cool to see how the full self-driving works like on city streets. The fact that it can like stop at stop signs, it's stops at red lights, it signals, it makes turns. It's pretty cool how that works. It does feel like though I have to like be more aware and attentive when it is on full self-driving. It's almost like I have my 11-year-old daughter sitting on my lap and she's the one driving. I mean, that's how this thing kind of drives. It's funny, like it's impressive that it can do it, but it's also like, it's still like it's still learning to drive. It's like a kid driving the car. Okay, here's an example. Let's see how it does right here. It's got a semi truck and a biker, and it doesn't know what to do. Oh gosh, see, I just almost got rear-ended because that semi is just parked. That semi is just parked on the side of the road, and there's a biker there. That's kind of, I mean, that's an odd situation, but something that a driver knows what to do. You just go out into the turn lane here. The full self-driver computer just kind of stopped, and full self-drive enabled. So you can tell that it's still beta mode. I mean, there's still a lot to learn, but it is impressive to see that it can do a lot of the driving. But it's not like it's fully autonomous. I can't just sit here and chill and watch YouTube videos on my phone. I have to monitor it. I have to be the one taking over. And just in this short drive, in less than 2 miles, I've had to take over twice in situations where it didn't know what to do. So it's still in learning and beta stage. I think what Tesla should have done is they should have allowed all their cars that have this capability to have access to use this, so that way it could learn faster and have more cars to learn from. And then once it is really full self-driving, then there's the option to pay for it. And I think at that point, when it is full self-driving, I don't have to monitor it. I can just sit in the car and chill and it'll drive itself. Then I'd be willing to pay for that. But the fact that we're being asked to pay for full self-driving when it's really not full self-driving doesn't make sense for me right now. So that's just an example of how it works on the streets. So it does a pretty good job. It's kind of nerve-wracking to watch it try to navigate some obstacles, maybe some off situations like that semi truck on the side of the road, things like that. So there is a setting. I thought that it was kind of annoying on the freeway when I have it on full self-driving that it wants to change lanes like all the time, and I didn't like that. And so there is a setting in here. See, this setting here says I can go minimal changes for current drive. Now this resets every time you stop the car. Like every time I get out of the car, it resets back. So every time you'd have to set this. So I want to try this on the freeway, full self-driving, and see if it just stays in the lane and doesn't try changing lanes all the time. Like as an example, yesterday I was on the freeway, had a full self-driving. I did not have the minimal lane change option on. I was like 2 miles away from my exit, I was in the middle travel lane. It's a five lane freeway with a carpool lane, and it wanted to get all the way into the carpool lane. Well, I'm by myself. I couldn't get in the carpool lane, and it wanted to get in the carpool lane when I was 2 miles away from my exit. I mean, that wasn't going to work. I needed to start getting over. So I didn't like the amount of lane changes that it was trying to do automatically for me. And so I think this might help it a little bit. So we'll see how this works. In this area here, so this is so we've got a carpool, a fast lane, middle lane, right lane, and then there's an exit only lane that comes up. So we've got like a four to 5 lane freeway here. And this left lane is, people drive fast on this freeway, it seems like, and so if you're not going 80 miles an hour, people are just buzzing right up, they'll go in the carpool lane, they'll go around you on the right side. And so I don't like going, speed limit 70, I'm going, if I set it at 72, I'm going to start getting past here really quickly. So, and I'm not passing this car, I'm just kind of hanging out in the left lane. And so if I'm going this speed, I want to be in this right-hand lane. And this car wants to hang out in full self-driving. It wants to hang out in the left, kind of the fast lane, which I don't really like. All right, I do have a passenger, but it automatically just went into the carpool lane, which it doesn't sense that it's a carpool lane. So now I've got to blinker my way back in. See, there's a dotted line. That's the entry into this carpool lane. We have double white line. It's like it's not sensing that that's a carpool lane, that should be some basic knowledge that it has about carpool lane. So, all right, so even with minimal lane change for current drive enabled, it still wants to change lanes if there's a car even a little bit slower than you going in the lane in front of you. This car in front of me is going probably 73. I set the cruise to 74, and it wanted to start passing it automatically. I'm like, just stay behind it. I don't know why it has to change lanes, because there's a bunch of cars coming up behind me on the left-hand side, and it wanted to go over into that lane. I had to stop it. So, all right, guys, so kind of just in summary, I just want to give kind of my thoughts over all of this full self-driving technology, the package that these cars include. I'm impressed with it. It's impressive. I probably haven't used full self-driving for about a year and a half. I had another loaner from Tesla a year and a half ago. It was a Model X, a 2017 Model X. This has come a long way since then, and I'm excited to see how it's gonna work in a couple of years, when perhaps there is maybe some more full autonomy where you don't have to really pay attention, you don't have to babysit it. It's cool to see. It's cool to witness this car actually driving itself and navigating streets and traffic and navigating itself. But you can't really do it on its own. You still have to pay attention. You can't really do other things right now. You have to really pay attention. So the real litmus test, the real question is it worth $15,000? That's the price of it. Right now we're in August of 2023. For me, the answer is no. It's not worth it to me to just... It's not gimmicky, but it's really not helpful for me right now, in that I still have to pay attention and drive. So if that's the case, it's not worth $15,000 to have a computer kind of drive like it's just learning to drive, basically. So I'm still not going to buy it. I mean, in the future, I can see that it's going to be worthwhile, but obviously when it's better in the future, it's probably going to be more expensive. And so I still am not going to pay $15,000 for it. Where it would be cool, let's say if you're shopping for a Tesla right now, and you want to look at a car that's probably a 2018 to 21, 22, if it already has the full self-driving package enabled with it, that software purchase stays with the car. And if the car you're looking at has that, it might be worth a couple $1,000s more to pay for that. It's definitely not. I don't think it's worth $15,000. And even if you trade your car into Tesla, they don't value it at $15,000. They don't value that. They give you maybe $2,000 to $4,000 more for your car if it has the full self-driving package software enabled. So I don't think it's worth the cost. I would maybe look at it in getting an older car that has it already included. I'm not going to pay $15,000 for it, nor am I going to pay $200 a month to have the subscription basis for it. So I think it's cool, but it's not worth the cost to me, in my opinion. One other downside to the full self-driving, and this is just related to the cost, and that is if you pay right now, 2023, you pay the $15,000 to include that in your car. Well, if in the future, I would say in 5 to 10 years, the technology, the hardware, the computer, the cameras, those are all going to get a lot better, and the software is going to get better. And so if you want to trade in your car or buy a new Tesla that can full self-drive even better than your current one, well, that $15,000 you paid doesn't transfer to the new car. It's not like you have a full self-driving subscription. But let's say you trade it in, you sell it, or it gets in an accident and it gets totaled. The new Tesla that you buy, you're gonna have to pay whatever the current price is for full self-driving. That doesn't carry with you; it stays with the car. And that's kind of the downside too, is you're paying for a car that's kind of an early adopter, or that has really kind of early technology. And cars 5 to 10 years from now are going to have much better technology, better safety awareness, camera system, computer system's going to be a lot better, and going to be able to full self-drive even better. And we'll probably all want to buy those cars and get rid of our current cars. And so paying $15,000 now just doesn't make sense. Guys, so thanks for watching the video. Hopefully this provides at least some information if you're interested about full self-driving. I'm by no means a full self-driving expert. I've only used it a handful of times, but I do think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I don't think it's worth the cost, but it is cool to see what this is going to potentially do in the future. So, guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Use my Tesla referral link if you're ordering a Tesla for incentives and discounts off your new Tesla. So, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.